welcome back to another episode of the Pierced Off Pod. I am so glad that you are here joining me today. If you haven't already picked up, it is another solo ep today, so it is just me, Danny, here, and yeah, thanks for joining. I hope you've had a good week. It's been wild. It was actually International Women's Day week last week, so yeah, I hope you were able to celebrate that in some way or share in all of that positive female driven energy. So yeah, it was actually a really interesting week. I had a massive week. I actually went to Hairspray the musical with my mum on Thursday night, and that was absolutely wonderful. Would highly recommend seeing Hairspray the musical at the Lyric Theatre in the Star. It was, that's in Sydney, by the way. But yeah, it was fantastic. Well produced and just a well done musical. And then I also celebrated International Women's Day myself, going to the Ingham Institute's International Women's Day lunch. It was actually their 10th anniversary, and it was wonderful. It was really good. So it's the Ingham Institute is applied medical research, so yeah, raising money for women in science and all of that. So would recommend checking them out if you're interested. But yeah, so it's been a really wholesome week, which has been lovely. And now we are here. I also actually played my first soccer game of the season. It was only a trial match, so yeah, it was good. We won, which was nice. It's a bit of a new team, a mix of players, so I'm looking forward to a good season. I had a really good game. I assisted a couple goals, scored one of my own, and that was all in the first half. In the second half, I stepped funny on my ankle and had to rest for the rest of the half because it just wasn't worth, pushing myself even further. But yeah. Anyway, let's get into the episode. I think today I really just wanted to chat kind of about life. And one thing that's really been popping up for me recently, it has been the not knowing what to do in life. And that sounds really broad and big and a bit of a overwhelming and, how do I put it? A bit of a challenging question. And I think the question that I keep coming back to is, how do I know what I'm meant to do with my life? And I think a lot of people come up against this question at different stages of their life, and it's completely normal and natural. And I think it's something that you just have to be patient with yourself with. Because in my case right now, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing with my life. And that is completely okay. There is nothing wrong with being in this part of your life where you feel like you don't know, and you're just taking it day by day. And I think that is the biggest and most important part of when you are in this kind of question based trying to figure out life, is that it's okay not to know, and that it's important that you are patient and give yourself space and time to figure it out. Don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself, because I can guarantee there is a lot of pressure coming from external areas of your life, external parties, people, like society in general, social media, whatever it is. And I think you just have to acknowledge that it's there. And sometimes having that pressure there in the background isn't such a bad thing. It can keep you focused on trying to figure out what you want to do. But I think it's important not to let it add any unnecessary pressure, because let's be honest, you are probably going to be putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself without the help of any external stimulus, I suppose. So yeah, basically at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong answer to that question of not knowing what to do with your life. If you know, that's fantastic. Go for it. Keep pursuing what you want to do and what you've been driven to do, like that. Really embrace that, because that's amazing. And if you don't, let's get on the journey and figure it out together, because that's realistically what life's about. Like, it's a journey. You I think, be intentional and pick the path of figuring it out, and just enjoy that kind of path and see what opportunities come your way. Take the opportunities that align with you, let the ones that don't go. And yeah, I think it's a big part of trusting the journey. And that sounds so wishy-washy at times, and that's okay. If that is something that's like, you know, trust the journey, it's like, yeah, okay, I don't really know what that means, like, how do I do that? Figuring that out is okay as well. I think it's trusting the journey for me is just not forcing anything. And I think if you can just not sit back as in like let life go by you, but sit back in the adventure you're currently on, and being open to whatever journey life is taking you on, that's what it means for me. And Jess and I actually touched on this a little bit a couple weeks ago, and it's definitely, I think, a big part is picking a path and sticking on it, but not keeping your blinkers on. So I think like I said earlier, you've got to be open to opportunities. You've got to be open to receiving different options and being able to, you know, look into them and evaluate whether that's the next step you're going to take, or whether that doesn't quite align right now, so I'm going to keep on this path, or I'm going to take this step instead. And a big part of this, and it is very, very hard, and I completely respect that it is difficult, because I personally struggle with it, but it is trusting your instinct and your intuition. And in life, we go through different parts of our life where we don't trust our intuition. We just go with the flow. We follow what the next step we're told to do, blah, blah, blah. And so sometimes it can be really hard to lean into that intuition, but that's okay. That is also part of the journey. It's about learning to listen to your inner thoughts and trust your true instincts, because at the end of the day, your body knows. And I think the more self-aware you become of this, and the more you open up to trusting your instincts and your intuition, the easier it becomes. And you hear this all the time on social media and different podcasts, and an influencer, like, you know, you go trust yourself, trust your intuition, but like, don't be disheartened if you aren't sure what that looks like or sounds like yet, or what it even feels like, because I think a big part of it is what it feels like. And in that, I think the first step is being able to recognize your feelings and recognize what feels good, what doesn't feel as good, and what could even, you know, I guess, feel bad. And I think that the benefit of being able to recognize that is that you can't really understand fully what the good is without the bad. So I think it's that whole, you know, you can't recognize lightness without darkness, and all that sort of thing. You got to have both ends of the spectrum, and that's fine, both ends of the scale. But yeah, you've got to be open to recognizing how you feel. And that can be scary. Feelings can be a lot, if you've been in a pattern where you just write it out, bury feelings deep inside like I have in the past. It can be a little bit overwhelming at first, and that's okay. Be gentle with yourself in this. But I think it's when you give yourself the space to recognize how you feel, it can change a lot pretty quickly. I think for me personally, when I recognized that the environment I was in for work wasn't aligning with who I was and I wasn't feeling good, it allowed me to really think about it logically and recognize what needed to change. And it helps you then create a process of being like, does this align with me? Is this what I want to pursue? And it brought up a lot of questions, and it was hard because I was so fatigued and exhausted from just getting through each day that I really had to dedicate time and be gentle and be patient when I was creating space to figure out, what I really wanted. And I think one of the questions that came up was, is this my dream job? Is this what my dream life looks like? And in that exact moment, sorry guys, that was Simba. In that moment and in that space, I recognized that it wasn't. And I then got to make the decision that I got to change it up. Hang on, we're just going to let Simba go. Alrighty, I think we're back. Sorry guys, Simba just, wanted to bark a bit. Yeah, so I think I've kind of lost my train of thought now. Yeah, I think a big part of this is, being honest with yourself. You need to, be real and really, get down to the core of, if it's an issue, down to the core of the issue. If it's figuring out what you're meant to do, get down to what makes you happy. And don't get me wrong, like sometimes what you do day to day for a job isn't going to be your dream job, and that's a whole nother aspect of life. But I think it's important that in your life you have something that makes you completely like over the moon happy and aligns with that feeling of what you're meant to do with your life. So it could be like you could work your 9 to 5 in your dream industry. You could work 9 to 5 in your dream job. You could work in any job. And then if you're aligned with giving back to your community, it could be, volunteering or, helping others. It could be like, I think the possibilities are endless, and I don't want to get caught up in this pressure of you have to be working, like you have to be living your dream life with your dream job, and that means quitting your current 9 to 5 to pursue your dream job, because that isn't always feasible. And let's not put the pressure that I think social media is really pushing on ourselves to go down that path, because you can create a side hustle. You can give up a couple hours each day to pursue your dream. You can make your current life your dream life. Like you can romanticize your own life. You can change it so that you are the main character in your life. And I think that is a big part of it. Make yourself the main character in your own life, because you are, and you deserve to be. So really take hold of that. And I think when you change that perspective of your life, I think you can really open up the possibilities, and you can shape it to however you want, whatever you want it to be. So I think it's accepting that it's different for everyone, and what you're meant to do with your life is always going to look different to everyone else, because there is no one else in this world like you, and you've got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. And I really, really encourage you to lean in on that and really, grasp and grab that opportunity to do what's best for you. And that looks different to everyone. What I do for myself looks completely different to what Jess, what she's doing for herself, and what my friends and my family and are doing for themselves. So I want to say don't compare yourself, but let's be honest, it's really hard not to. But really try hard not to compare so much. And I think a big part of knowing what you're meant to do with your life, or figuring it out, is like a telltale sign for myself personally is the ability to enjoy the small things in life. And it was really interesting when I was thinking about this episode, the pen I've grabbed to write down some notes. It says enjoy the simple things, and you can't really see it, but I don't think you're going to be able to see it in the video either. No, not quite. I don't think the light's too reflective. Yeah, sorry. But it says enjoy the simple things. And I think that's a great reminder to, be present. Because at the end of the day, like, this is life. I think sometimes we get so caught up on the idea of like what a perfect life looks like and what it means to live out your dream life, and the pressures of what that has to look like, when realistically it looks different for everyone, and what is right for me is not right for someone else, and it shouldn't be, because we are all different. And what I enjoy, the simple things I enjoy, are not going to be simple things that other people enjoy, and that's okay. That's part of the journey, So I think at the end of the day, let's not put pressure on ourselves to know what you feel like you have to know what you want in life, or what you should be doing with your life. And I think another important part is that can change. What you want today and what you want your dream life to look like today can and likely will change over time. And part of that is really exciting, because life is dynamic. You are dynamic. You have the opportunity to change and grow as a person, and grow in your life and experience new things. And those experiences and what you learn day to day change and shape you to a better tomorrow. And it comes back to the 1% better every day. And I think if there's anything that I am trying to live by at the moment, while I'm figuring it out for myself, is the 1% better every day. And it's only simple things, whether that's reading or going, moving my body, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's just the notion of that 1% better, like just doing one thing that is going to make your day better today, that will improve your day tomorrow. And yeah, I think it's really exciting to understand and respect that what today looks like and what you want today to look like, if you're fully living in the present, isn't necessarily what tomorrow or the next 5 years are going to look like. And I think in grasping that idea and accepting that rejection is redirection is really important, because you know what I want my dream life to look like today, and what in my head I feel like I want it to look like, or what I think it will look like, if like it doesn't pan out that way, I don't want to get stuck in that, oh, I've been rejected, my dream life's been rejected, and go down that spiral. Rather, I am giving myself the space, and I encourage you to give yourself the space, that it's redirection. It's kind of like what we spoke about a couple of episodes ago. Like, you know, when one door closes, open a window, open another door, like turn around and look for the opportunities, because it's not a dead end. We're not at a dead end. And you know what, even if you're in a cul-de-sac, it goes round, come back out. Like it's okay. Life flows, and I really encourage you to go with that flow. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, I want to encourage you to pursue your dream life, because you deserve to live it. But understand that dream life looks different for everyone, and that's okay, and it's good. And life would be extremely boring if all our lives look the same. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today. But I just want to encourage you to not put too much pressure on yourself. If you feel like you don't know what you're meant to do with your life, that's okay. It's a journey. We'll figure it out together. Trust the process and be kind to yourself and be gentle, and just start slow, start small. Just give yourself a little bit of space to figure it out. And I think in time, you will figure it out. Well, yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there today. Thank you so much for joining me. Jess and I would really, really love it if you could share this podcast, and, you know, with friends, family that you think would enjoy it. And yeah, we thank you for joining us for another week. It's good fun, and we really, really, really appreciate your support. So have a wonderful week. Trust the process, enjoy the journey, be as present as you can, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening in. There's absolutely no pressure to do this, but if you're happy to share the podcast with your friends or on your socials and tag us at Pierced Off Pod, that would be amazing.
You can also leave us a stellar 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on if you're feeling extra motivated today. It really does help us out so much, but ultimately we are just beyond grateful that you're here.
You're also more than welcome to come and hang out with us on our other socials. All of our links are in the description.